half of this stuff is not true. I read somewhere that the Maze Runner series is going to be 8 books.
8 books?
I like 3
That
more.
is so very not true.
Well, 2 more. So not true.
No, sorry. You know, if I turn, tell you what, I'll make a deal with you guys. If I turn 60 and for some reason I'm poor and lived in a ditch, I will write another Maze Runner book. No, it would be a serious mistake for me to write another Maze Runner book, at least within the next 10 years, 15 years, because this book is such closure, and it would seem like milking it or something. It wouldn't be genuine to what I ever envisioned. So, but I'm gonna write other cool books.
All right, next question was over here.
Oh,
No, right there.
Her and then,
Yep.
okay, her and then her and then her.
All right, fair enough.
Hi.
Hi.
May I start by saying I'm a big fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Also, I'm very upset with you.
Oh, yes. We do not speak.
You're not
of Paige.
alone.
Nice shirt. I love that.
Thank you. I got it for Christmas. So anyways, I'm a big fan.
Thank you. That means a lot.
What made you want Teresa to be the person that betrays the group? Many people love Teresa in the first book, and we're rooting for Thomas and her to get together. But I'm Brenda when I read the second book.
Brenda? Oh, you like Brenda?
Yeah.
Brenda's cool.
Team Brenda versus Team...
But what made you want...
Newtmas? What?
What made you want Teresa to be the one to betray to everybody?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. Teresa is very close to my heart. She is so screwed up. And I don't mean that in a negative, I do mean it in a negative way, but I don't mean it, what am I trying to say?
Try saying that in a positive way.
She is so screwed up, it's a positive word.
Screwed up.
Screwed up.
Really, the prequels are so much about her too, right? Your exploration of her character.
Yeah, some people are looking at Fever Code as making Teresa look worse. I'm not sure I agree with that. Teresa is a very tormented soul. And it wasn't like I had all these characters laid out. I'm like, okay, which one's gonna be the betrayer? It's her. I wanted her to have these layers to her and show, you know, what this world can really do to somebody. And I very sincerely believe, and that I tried to show it with the Fever Code actually, that she really believed that she was doing the right thing. We're talking about the extinction of the human race. And she just, for some reason, she believed in finding a cure no matter the cost. And it's hard to fault her for that. So I don't know if I see it as true betrayal, especially when you take into account something you learned in the Fever Code. But yeah, she's so tormented, and just this experience messed her up. And I felt like it was almost a mercy to something that might have happened to her later. Some redemption and mercy. Yeah. Okay, so
You are very good, by the way, at being coy enough to answer the question
yeah?
without giving anything away. It's like you're a writer.
yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty impressive.
I didn't start crossing my legs till I turned 40. All right, so
These are the
her
tidbits.
and then her. And then other people.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sienna. This is my friend Victoria. We're big fans as well.
Thank you.
Wanted to ask you a quick question. You say you're very emotional with your characters. How did it feel to give that role away to people like Dylan O'Brien and like Thomas Brody?
You like those two?
Very. Very.
I could not possibly be happier with the casting decisions that were made. I never for 1 second had, not even a millisecond, had the thought that my books are too amazing, I will not let Hollywood screw them up. like I think you said it, I was willing to run over my own grandmother to have a movie made, okay? Luckily, oh my gosh, I almost said something so horrible. I almost said, but would never say, luckily she was already passed away and I didn't have to run over her. I would say.
All right, so I'm just putting down pessimist.
That was optimistic. I said,
Okay, optimistic. Okay.
no one could be closer to their grandma than I was, and I would say that in front of her because she would laugh her butt off. Okay. So, I would have done it no matter what because it was an opportunity for something amazing to happen. But of course, I was nervous about it. You know, because I've had a lot of friends have had books made into horrible movies. So I was nervous about it, but it didn't. Man, we just hit the gold mine with some of these, and we caught a lot of these actors right before their careers skyrocketed. Kaya Scodelario is the main actress in the new Pirates of the Caribbean. Will Poulter was in The Revenant and all kinds of stuff coming up. Dylan O'Brien,
Deepwater Horizon.
Yes, Deepwater Horizon. He's filming the Assassin, American Assassin. Because everyone in America is an assassin. We all walk around with machine guns.
Yeah. You're lucky we let you up here, actually, for this event.
People keep asking me if I own a gun.
Do you own a gun?
I do not own a gun. So
Applause.
I do own some kitchen knives. So anyway, I've been very, very pleased, and I'm not ashamed to say that when I wrote the Fever Code, 100% I was picturing the actors. 100%, not ashamed to say it. I made sure I didn't do any contradictions to anything in the book, so I never described what Newt looked like again, because in the Maze Runner he's described as having huge muscles. And we all know that Thomas Brody Sangster does not have huge muscles, but he's still adorable and sexy and whatever. Very, very happy with the casting. Could not be happier.
Hi.
Hi.
You know me?
Yes. Diana.
Yeah. Okay, so in the books, I know like Ava Page, she wanted like more trials, and I was discussing it on Twitter with a couple of people, and this is kind of like a 2-in-1 question. Like, number one, would paradise be considered like a trial? That's what we were kind of thinking. What is paradise like? Is it like on Earth? Like, is it somewhere else? Like, it's kind of confusing what it's kind of like. I don't know.
Well, it's very important to this answer. It's very important that you know this. There's nothing tricky about it. And this, if you haven't read the books, you won't have the single clue what the hell we're talking about. So I'm not spoiling anything. They found an island that wasn't inhabited, and it was the perfect place to go. It's not on another planet or anything crazy weird like that. What was the other?
Is it a trial?
Oh, okay. So the story, there's no more trickery. Okay, the story's over. That's why I've never even considered writing more sequels. I know. Well, one time
She said it's hard to trust him sometimes, just in case you guys missed
even
that.
you have to. That'd be going a bit too much.
Yeah.
But I did joke with my agent once. I said, "Dude, they're on the island, and a helicopter shows up, and Teresa gets off the helicopter and says, 'Thomas, we have to go.'" No
Scene
way
one.
that's ever going to happen. And my agent, I think he thought I was actually serious because he said, "James, no."
Can I ask you a quick side question just before you get? You had mentioned somewhere that Lord of the Flies was one of your inspirations at the very, very beginning of the process. Is the island a sort of a nod to that?
There's tons of nods to Lord of the Flies. Who's read Lord of the Flies? Okay. Usually they make you read it in high school. No, I love that book. It's dark and twisted, and it's awesome. And Chuck is absolutely,
Piggy.
yes, I mean, like 100%. I mean, I just blatantly stole that. That's the only thing I've just truly blatantly stolen, is I stole Piggy from Lord of the Flies and put him in my book and renamed him Chuck. But yeah, there's lots of things like that because, and its influence on Maze Runner is pretty obvious if you've read it. Bunch of boys, isolated, their interactions. So yeah, the island.
Is maybe one more little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Oh, and then you.
And then over there.
If you would associate yourself with any of the characters in any of the books, who would it be and why?
Well, we're in Thomas's head, right? So just naturally, he's the one. I mean, he is me in a sense because I'm in his head, writing from his point of view. So I can't separate myself from him. He's a much braver version of me because I would have hidden behind a tree until someone killed me and cried like a baby. So Thomas is braver, but he definitely thinks like me, which no one ever says Thomas is their favorite, so I don't know what that says about me. Everyone's favorite are the people that are not like me, so it's kind of sad. I'm mostly kidding. But yeah, Thomas. Yeah.
That's your third epiphany this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to quit having epiphanies.
You're just racking them up.
This is a weird question, but where did Minho get his name from?
Ah! She asked where did Minho get his name from? That is 100% easy answer. My niece, who is my favorite niece, don't tell my other nieces, married a Korean American named Minho. And he brags about it so much on Instagram and Facebook. I'm the real Minho, look at me, I'm the real Minho. He loves it. So that's where I got the name.
Do they share a temperament at all, or?
He's not nearly as cool as the book Minho.
You can Instagram that out right now, yes.
So we're gonna. Oh man! All right, I'm gonna choose you, and then I can't choose anymore now because I'm gonna start being the bad guy.
Fair enough.
So you choose. Well, I promise.
Blue shirt. I'll choose. I'll be the bad guy.
What color is that?
It's sort of a teal, blue,
Yes.
turquoise
Yes.
thing. Turquoise.
And then yeah. Okay.
Hi, I'm Sophia. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so my question is, in the Scorched Trials movie, Brenda's like lying down and Thomas is talking to her, and she's like, okay, I had a brother named George, and Wicked took him away from me and I never got to say goodbye. And then in the Maze Runner movie, when he's in like the grave part, or in like, I forgot what the forest is called, and he's in the Deadheads, and I see grave and the name has George on it. Was George sent into the maze? Her brother?
Well, I have done everything in my power to keep book world and movie world separate because there's too many opportunities for contradiction. That one I let. So there's a George in the Fever Code, and you'll see what happens to him. And so I kind of did let movie world seep in a little bit there because it seemed very obvious that Wes Ball focused on someone named George in both movies, actually. And I hope it works. I really tried to look at everything and make sure. Now, wait a minute. Does it make sense that George could be Brenda's brother? I think it does. I'm sure someone out there is going to figure out something I did wrong, but anyway, very, very good observation.
That is some detailed reading of your book right there. That's amazing. All right, so you want to pick the last one, or you want me to be the bad guy?
Oh, we only have time for one more?
Do we have time for how many time? We have one or two more? All right, we can do a couple more.
Okay.
So
what time's the hockey game start?
7. Yeah. So green satchel thing.
Hi. You already talked to my twin, but.
Whoa, you're
wait a
twins?
minute.
Yeah. Isn't it obvious?
Dude, twins are so creepy.
Thank you.
Hey, when I call you creepy, that's a compliment.
I love the fact she said thank you. That's awesome.
No, but
I made me feel
someday, it seems way too cliche, but there's something about twins that creep me out. Like, not that you're creepy, but it's something surreal and magical about twins, and I one day want to figure out a way to write a book about it. That's not been done a million times. So I don't know, but twins kind of scare me.
Anyways,
James, will you please shut up so I can ask you a question?
I just want to see what question she comes back with after that. All right, let's hear it.
I'm sure
Yes.
every author has this, but how did you know you wanted to become an author?
There was never a certain moment. When I was a little kid, I was writing stories. I still have a copy of a story I wrote when I was 8. It is so stupid, but I love doing it. The last line in that story, true story, last line of that story is, "And they all died." So I've been doing this for years. But just, I was like, you know, kid says, "Oh, I want to play in the NHL someday," or "I want to be a quarterback," or "I want to be a movie star," or "I want to be a rock star." I always said, "I want to be an author." I don't know if I really believed it. I went to college and studied accounting. Are there any accountants here? For real? No accountants, or you're just too embarrassed to admit it? Yeah, accounting is the worst. But I dreamed it, I wanted it. And college is when I really, even though I was studying accounting, committed to it. But it gradually grew my whole life from reading thousands of books. Stephen King was a huge influence on me. So, yeah, always. Okay, you already asked a question. Don't make me feel even worse by reading.
That's right.
Oh man, you pick, man. I can't do it.
All right.
You can always ask me questions in the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people who want to be an author or writer?
Yes, I do.
Study accountancy.
Worked for me. All right. You can imagine I get asked this a lot, and I do have an answer for it. And it seems like a cop-out answer, but there is no golden nugget of wisdom that's